Let's go! YouTube back again with another tier list video ranking the best action movies of the 2000s through 2004. Just found a random list. Figured it was time to give a list of some of the best action movies of all time. I looked through the list before. Probably not as many of the best ones on there as you can find. A lot of these I've forgotten about or haven't seen or haven't even heard of, to be honest. Now, this list should be a good one. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and let me know if you like the video and if there's any that I missed, or if there's any other tier lists that you can find or suggest that I could do in the future. I love doing these tier maker lists. They're nice and easy to make, and I get to give my opinions out, and I don't really care of what you think. So let's get into the video. Bring the tier list. Best of all time, obvious. Action classics are just those that are just below the bit. And then we have the good action dumb movie. There are lots of action movies out there that have good action scenes, but the movie overall is just dumb, just plain dumb, to be honest. Mediocre. Obvious, the action isn't the greatest, but it's not bad either. Garbage. Yeah, these action movies just suck. They're terrible. They're just not even worth thinking about. Then we have not action movie. These probably should be near higher the list this tier, because it doesn't. These are movies that are probably aren't action movies or very close to it, but I wouldn't classify them necessarily as action movies. And these are the ones that just are just there, but they're not quite action movies. And then obviously ones I haven't seen. So let's start off with Too Fast, Too Furious. I think this is an action classic for sure. It's the second one in the series, seemingly the one that everybody forgets about, but really brought in a lot of the characters that have come to be known in the franchise today. Ludacris, Tyrese, and I think it's just a good, fun movie. A little out there, some gross scenes, especially the part with the rat is just weird, but it's a great racing flick. I mean, the races are even better than the first one, especially that opening one. Jumping over the bridge is just fantastic fun to watch every time. Of course, some moments here and there just weird and all. And then, of course, the garage scene, all the cars coming out, and SWAT chasing everybody everywhere. It's just a fun movie. Not the best movie in the world, but one I enjoy thoroughly every year. Next, we have Blade Trinity. Now, I happen to like this movie. I just think it's really fun. Ryan Reynolds isn't too annoying. I guess he kind of is. Jessica Biel is hot looking in this movie, of course. And Whistler comes back, which is always good. No, I mean the Dracula part is kind of undercooked. Triple H can't act for shit, so that brings that down for sure. But some good action scenes here and there. Ending of the Blade trilogy, as it were. It's not a great ending to the series, but I enjoy this one for what it is. It's not very good, but some of the action scenes I find interesting as much as you can. But just a mediocre action movie, but one that I still have fine feelings for every now and then. 3,000 Miles to Graceland. I've heard of this. I've never seen it before, so I don't know what to think about it. Yeah, The Sixth Day. I haven't seen that either. There's a couple in here that I haven't seen. Man Apart. Maybe I'll watch in the future. I've heard it's a decent Vin Diesel movie, one that's forgotten. We have Alexander. That kind of, I mean, the action scenes are breathtaking, but to be honest, I think the movie's just kind of trash because the historical is just all over the place. It is an Oliver Stone movie, so he really takes it up the where when it comes to the historical accuracy. We know he's done that with a couple movies, not to name names, but if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, Alexander is just so out there, just it could have been good, but it just fails in the historical department all the way. And the action scenes are bloated. The movie is bloated so much it didn't need to be 3 hours long. And the extended edition is even longer. I'm not a big fan, and it's just one that's best left in the rubbish bin, to be honest. Alien vs. Predator. Action classic for sure. I love this movie. I don't care what people think about, care what they say about Alien vs. Predator. I think this movie series is fantastic. They get the mythology. Who cares? It's just about the aliens. Who cares about the plots? It's all about aliens versus Predator. Although, admittedly, we didn't get as many aliens versus predator scenes as we could have. Should have been much more. The human drama should have been tamped down a lot more. But what we do get is pretty cool. And the battle with the alien queen at the end is pretty awesome. And we're not going to talk about the sequel that come out because that movie's awful. But this one is great. I enjoy it all the time. I watch it a lot. Now, what's this? The Art of War? I don't believe I've seen that before. Bad Boys 2. Definitely a classic. I don't get why people hate this one so much. I mean, it's not as good as the first one, but good action scenes from start to finish. I mean, the series has always been kind of weird to me, but it's always been fun too. Don't know what the third and the fourth one are going to be like, but this one is pretty fun still. Back when Will Smith wasn't a total biatch. Bad Company, I've heard of it, haven't seen it. Ballistic X Receiver, haven't seen it. Battle Royale, would like to see it at some point. And Battlefield Earth, well, we all know this movie is just it isn't really an action movie. I mean, it's more of sci-fi, but it's based on the terrible L. Ron Hubbard book about Scientology. It is so dreadful to watch, but at times you can have fun with it because John Travolta is just ridiculous and stupid, and you just want to bang your head against the wall every time you watch it. But I don't know, it can be so bad it's funny. I mean, I guess if you're drunk, you could go that route, but no, just awful. Behind Enemy Lines. Now, I enjoyed this movie quite a bit. I mean, it's short and sweet. Owen Wilson gets lost behind enemy lines, of course, and he goes through Chechnya basically and sees a bunch of er, human body pits and stuff. And I mean, the battle scene at the end where she's trying to escape, trying to get the data disc, proving all the war crimes, and there's missiles, there's heavy gunfire, turret fire going as there's missiles flying, helicopters coming, Gene Hackman comes in, saves the day, and they're just blowing people away. It's pretty awesome. I like it when he gets the guy that's been chasing him the whole time, but I mean, it's kind of meandering a little bit, but the action scenes at the end are definitely worth the price of admission, although, to be honest, it takes a little bit to get there. Biker Boys, have not seen that. Heard it was average, I guess. Now, we have one of the best of all time. Black Hawk Down, I've made a review about this in the past. It's definitely one of the best action and slash war movies of all times. The battle scenes are just epic, fantastic. The cinematography is gorgeous, even today. The acting is not the greatest at times, but it's believable. It's about a time in American war history that isn't talked about very much, but one that should be talked about. I mean, it really illustrates how terrible a lot of the places in Africa are. They're just run by warlords, and in these countries, the only hope for a lot of these people is America coming over that hill, unfortunately. And this illustrates the part in American history that isn't talked about a lot from the early 90s. Black Hawk Down, several people were killed trying to save and deliver supplies and stuff. It's a very good movie. The acting is fantastic, and it's gorgeous to watch, although kind of heartbreaking at times, seeing how what happens to people, and people getting blown away. But action scenes are really, really good. One of Ridley Scott's underrated movies for sure. Blade 2. Now, this one is definitely up there. I wouldn't call it the best of all time, but this movie has grown on me. When I first saw it, or I hadn't seen it, and I thought it's just so different because it's a Guillermo del Toro movie, but it's really grown on me, especially if you watched the show The Strain. It feels like they took a lot of the vampires from this movie and placed them in there. It's pretty cool. The vampires, they're not really vampires. It's like a breed and their mouths open like a parasite almost, but action scenes are pretty brutal, pretty nice. There's some nice twists in there. Um, you have one, he gets to Ron Perlman because he's a total a-hole the whole movie. Some good lines here and there. It's just a fun movie. The action scenes are pretty good. And it's a Guillermo del Toro movie, and his movies can be very good to just flat out weird. It's one of the better ones for sure. How did Blade Trinity end? Wait, oh, somebody put this twice. No, that's a bad list. The Born Identity is a classic. I haven't seen it for a while, but it is a really slow moving movie. But um, trying to discover his identity, has amnesia totally. He's Matt Damon is really good in this one. Has some good fight choreography. One of Paul Greengrass's better movies for sure. And it's just I don't have a lot to say about it. I mean, the series as a whole is pretty decent, but I don't think it's as big of a classic as people think it is. But I would still put it up here because just the first one that came out, it was pretty good. The Bourne Supremacy. I don't think I've seen the second one. I've seen the first one. Haven't seen the second one. Bulletproof Monk is a pretty mediocre movie, but there's action scenes that are kind of cool. I mean, it's one of those weird with Sean William Scott, and it's kind of out of place. But the kung fu action scenes are pretty good. Yeah, I'll put it here. The movie is kind of dumb, trying to get a magical item or something like that. And yeah, not much to say. Catwoman, the movie sucks. It's just I'm sure Halle Berry would like to forget about it because they did not do Catwoman right. I don't know what the hell happened. Cellular, haven't seen that one. Charlie's Angels is crap. Well, might as well put both these up here. They're just trash movies, and I mean the Cameron Diaz, Drew Barrymore, Lucy Liu are good looking, but to be honest, movies just are just kind of bad. Just not worth talking about. The Chronicles of Riddick. Um, I love the action scenes, but to be honest, well, no, I'm gonna put it up in the classic for me. Yeah, some of the plot lines are kind of dumb, but if you watch Pitch Black, which I'm sure or if you've seen Pitch Black, it's a good continuation of what happened in Pitch Black, and there are some really cool action scenes at times. There's lots of action scenes throughout the movie. There's not a lot of downtime, so which is good. I mean, the plot armor aspect is kind of dumb, and some of the plot elements are kind of lame at times and just out there. But I love this series. I really hope we get a fourth one because what we got in the third Riddick movie, I mean, that came out much later, was good, and we need to see this series continue because it's definitely one of Vin Diesel's passion projects, and he really believes in the character, and it's just, you just watch it for Vin Diesel. He's just a cool ass motherfucker, to be honest. Collateral Damage. Um, haven't seen it in a while. No, actually, never seen it. What are we talking about? Let's do some rearranging. Collateral should be near the top. Chronicles of Riddick should be right around here. Bad Boys 2. Yeah, Collateral is great. It's it toes the line between action and thriller. I mean, there are some good fight scenes in here with Tom Cruise just screwing people up left and right, but I mean, it's a really good movie, very well paced, and you can kind of see the plot or the ending coming a mile away, but I enjoy it quite a bit. Keeps you on your heels throughout the movie. The core, boy, yeah, I don't really remember much of it. It's just like the core at the center of the world is exploding or whatever, or is going haywire, and all these disasters are happening all over the world. To be honest, is kind of lame at times. It's just it's sci-fi. It's not really an action movie. I'd probably put that there. It's not a very good movie either. It just some of the effects are kind of cool at times, but I haven't seen it for a while, so it probably hasn't aged very well, to be honest. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. would like to see it, but I don't know how much I'm gonna read subtitles. It depends. The Daredevil movie is definitely up there, one of the better superhero movies of all time. Definitely watch the director's cut. The director's cut is definitely better than the theatrical cut for sure. It's fun. I love Ben Affleck as this Daredevil. I wish we could have gotten another movie. Sadly, we didn't. I don't think this movie did as well in the box office, so they didn't justify doing another one. But I enjoy it a lot and watch it every now and then because it's just a fun superhero movie. And this was before Marvel, so this is what superhero one of the best movies before the MCU came out. So it's definitely one to remember. Day After Tomorrow. I mean, not really an action movie, sci-fi. I mean, the disaster scenes are kind of cool at times, but the human drama element is kind of lame. Um, suppose if all these things happen, I just the thought of all these things happening at once are it's kind of ludicrous. But of course, it's sci-fi, so we forgive that. But not really an action movie. But I think it's fine for what it is. Yeah, Die Another Day is pretty terrible. The action scenes are just out there, and the movie really isn't good. This we didn't get James Bond for a while after this one, so yeah, it just wasn't very good. Halle Berry felt out of place. Just not a good movie. Double Take. I don't think I've even heard of this movie. Equilibrium. I think the action scenes in this movie are really cool. I mean, the whole being put on a drug and not feeling emotions it was a cool idea at the time. I mean, the action is kind of wooden, but there's some pretty cool, awesome gunfights in this movie that don't get to see this movie on streaming very much, but it's a fun watch for sure. Early Christian Bale movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Ghost of Mars. Maybe I'll see it someday. It's a John Carpenter movie, so it might be worth watching. Gladiator. Another one of the best. I think we'll put that up. What do you know? Another Ridley Scott movie. One of the most, in my opinion, I think the movie's perfect. I mean, there's really not much they could have changed to make this movie better. Although it might not be historically accurate, the battle scenes are epic. The scenes in the Colosseum are beautiful and brutal, just illustrating that time. Joaquin Phoenix as Commodus is one of the best villains out there, one of the underrated villains of all time, and it's just a really somber tale at the end, kind of kind of touching at the end, trying to save his, or he gets to go home to his family. Um, it's just a cool movie. Please don't. I don't understand why there's going to be Gladiator 2. Why? The first movie was wrapped up so perfectly. You could not have ended it in a better spot. But of course, Ridley Scott probably just needs to make more money, so it's making Gladiator 2. I don't know what Gladiator 2 is going to be like, but Gladiator 1, fantastic. One of the best movies I've ever seen for sure. Gone in 60 Seconds. I think this movie is not the greatest in the world, but the car races are awesome. The cars are great. I mean, it's a ludicrous concept, of course, but I enjoy it quite a bit, and it's definitely one to rewatch over and over and over again. Half Past Dead. Haven't seen that. Hellboy. Another Guillermo del Toro movie for sure. I enjoy quite a bit. Ron Perlman is the perfect Hellboy for sure. The creatures are really cool. Of course, it's Guillermo del Toro, so of course the creature design is going to be fantastic, beautiful. It's not the greatest movie in the world, but I enjoy it quite a bit, and it brings the comic book to life in a good way. I think it's pretty faithful to the comic books, and you can obviously feel Guillermo del Toro's touch on it, and it was definitely worth a watch. Hero, haven't seen that. Urdu's Decent House of Flying Daggers, haven't seen that. House of the Dead. I think it's just so poorly acted, and yeah, just play the game instead. Don't watch the movie. Hulk. For me, the Hulk, the action scenes are kind of cool, but it's really outdated, and most of the movie's just slow and uninteresting. But when you see the Hulk, it's pretty cool. But yeah, Ang Lee was probably not the best choice for this movie, to be honest. I Robot. Hey, another movie where Will Smith wasn't a total biatch. A cool movie based on Isaac Asimov's work, basically. Robots helping everybody, then they go crazy, and Will Smith uncovers the truth. I like the design of the robots. They are pretty cool looking. Robots falling from the ceiling, shooting them down left and right. Pretty fun movie, to be honest. Let's put that up here. Let's put this here. Um, yeah, it's a fun movie. Incredibles. Definitely one of the better movies, Disney movies they've ever made. Of course, superheroes, lots of action. Animation is spectacular. Brad Bird, it's great. It's just a funny, cool, action-oriented movie. One of Disney's finest, and I'm sure a lot of you will agree that it is one of Disney's better movies ever made. In the talent job, I enjoy this movie quite a bit. I like the Coopers in this movie. The chases are fun. It is kind of slow in the middle, but the whole crew aspect, planning the heist, yeah, it's a heist movie. So it is a remake of the original from the 60s, which I have not seen, but I've heard is pretty good. As a remake, it's pretty good. Early Mark Wahlberg movie, Jason Statham, Charlize Theron. Perfect cast, to be honest. They all work great together, and it's just a fun movie, to be honest. Jurassic Park 3 is mediocre to say the least, but I enjoy it quite a bit still. I mean, the Spinosaurus is cool, just chasing them from start to finish. The dinosaurs still look pretty cool. This movie is kind of a letdown, though. Could have been so much better. And I mean, of course, the biggest thing of all is like Sam Neill and Laura Dern was supposed to have kids, and then all of a sudden she has kids with somebody else. That I don't know why that plot thread from the first movie was dropped. It makes no sense, but the dinosaurs still look pretty cool. Mediocre. Kill Bill is mediocre. I mean, the action scenes are fun, but to be honest, don't like the director very much. I not at all. Not a fan, to be honest. King Arthur, fun movie. I mean, kind of it's a interesting take on King Arthur from Antoine Fuqua. I mean, the battle scenes are pretty great. I love all the knights. They all have their distinct personalities. Of course, Mads Mikkelsen is pretty awesome in this one. I mean, a lot of the guys in this movie went on to have big careers or still had big movies. Like Keira Knightley, Clive Owen. He kind of fell off after this movie, but they're all pretty cool. Rest in peace, Ray Stevenson. One of your better movies for sure. Kiss of the Dragon, haven't seen it. Kung Fu Hustle, haven't seen it. Let's do some Tomb Raider. Let's put both these Tomb Raider movies up here. I definitely put Tomb Raider 1 above 2. 2 kind of sucked. The first one, I mean, was there really any other choice for Lara Croft and Angelina Jolie? Probably not, but this movie, as a video game movie, is pretty lax. Doesn't really follow the Tomb Raider movie all that much, or the game too much. I don't know. She's a decent Lara Croft, but the movie's just pretty mediocre. Both of them are pretty mediocre. Here we go. Another one up here. Last Samurai. Yes, historically inaccurate for sure. Battle scenes are epic. So beautiful. Such a beautiful premise. Fighting against the a-holes that want to change Japan forever. When the Emperor talks down to Mira, it's fantastic. It's just action scenes are so beautiful. We're into different lifestyle, but it's important to remember again that samurai were total a-holes, and when they were wiped out is probably a good thing for Japan. But yeah, the one of Tom Cruise's underrated best movies for sure, and one that should be talked about more. Cinematography is fantastic. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Just, it's really not good. I have a guilty pleasure thing with this, but based on terrible comic book, yeah, Alan Moore sucks. Old commie for sure. Yeah. Oh, how Sean Connery could have picked differently. We're gonna put all these Lord of the Rings movie right up top. Um, my favorite is this one. Yep. Mhm. We're gonna move these right up here. My personal favorite is Fellowship, as I laid out in my review, but all of them are masterpieces. One of the best adapted movies of all time. We all know we love Lord of the Rings, and what has happened to the series since is pretty tragic. But the first three movies are some of the best movies ever put to screen. Every one of them should have won Best Picture, and the fact that only one of them did is a crime for sure. Man on Fire. Um, to be honest, I started watching this. I haven't gotten through it yet, but it's pretty good so far from what I've seen. The Matrix Revolutions and Reloaded, yes, they're garbage. I still have my guilty pleasure to thing for it, but they're not good to be honest. Men in Black 2, pretty mediocre. Follow up to the first one. But I mean, it's still fun. So Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones work well together. I think it's a fun movie still, even though it's not as memorable as the first one. Minority Report is a really cool sci-fi premise for sure. One of Tom Cruise's underrated movies for sure. The whole pre-crime narrative is really terrifying, and the thought of that being a thing in the future is quite terrifying. Or being able to see into the future and tell what people are gonna do. Like anybody can change their fate. So the fact that you can tell what someone's gonna do in that point in time, even though a second later, based on their actions at that time, could change it, is stupid and really there's a bad way to police, and if we ever get to that phase it's not going to be good. But the movie overall it's great, a little long at times, but I think the movie wraps up pretty well and makes a lot of sense to be honest, even though the concept of it happening is terrifying. Mission Impossible 2 is mediocre. It's just a boring movie. Action scenes, I mean, him climbing up um, the mountain is pretty cool, but the action scenes aren't very good. It's just a boring movie overall, but it's not a garbage movie. It's just a very forgettable one. The First National Treasure is a classic for sure. Um, just the whole exploration element is pretty fun. Nicolas Cage, great choice. Couldn't have picked a better choice to be honest. It's just a fun movie, and love to hear what you think of it in the comments. Old Boy, I need to watch this. I've heard it's fantastic. Not the movie, not the Josh Brolin movie, but I'm pretty sure this is the original Japanese movie, which I heard is amazing. Ong Bak. It's on my list to see. Once Upon a Time in Mexico is just, I don't know, it's just mediocre. I mean, it really doesn't have, I mean, it does have something to do with the previous movie Desperado, but it feels just the main or Antonio Banderas isn't in it very much, and it's just kind of forgettable to be honest. Could have been so much better. The Patriot. I love The Patriot. Yes, historically inaccurate for sure, but one of Gibson's best. Beautiful action scenes, horrific battle scenes. To be honest, it's pretty brutal that time of warfare. Just everybody lining up and just shooting, then reloading and shooting. Not a very efficient way to wage a war, but It was what it was, and it commemorates the greatest period in history when America fought to become America. You can't say enough more than that. Pirates of the Caribbean. Classic for sure. I enjoy this movie a lot. Perfect choice of Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow. I mean, he loves the character. His whole doing charity, coming in as Jack Sparrow is commendable and amazing. But yeah, this movie's great. I enjoy it a lot. Watch it. Probably try and watch it once a year because it's just a fun movie. And it has some really good funny moments as well. Oh yeah, I suppose Pitch Black did come out in this time. We'll put that near the top. I love Pitch Black. I think it's fantastic. It's such a cool premise. Being on a planet with no sun for 30 days as these creatures hunt you. The bioraptors are pretty awesome. And Vin Diesel as Riddick, he just makes that character. Without Vin Diesel, Riddick is not as good as what he could be. He is the perfect choice. He loves the franchise. As I said earlier in the video, I hope we see more in the franchise because we need to see more. We need to see what his past was like, and I want to see what Furia is like. I mean, it's been teased so much in the movies before. We need to see what that is. Planet of the Apes is just it was just such a bad remake of the original movie. It was big for a weekend, and then everybody just forgot about it. And it's not garbage, but it's really forgettable. The Punisher. Thomas Jane was a perfect choice to be the Punisher. Although the Punisher Warzone with Ray Stevenson, he is an even better choice as Punisher. But for this movie and the time it came out, the origin story is pretty sad. I mean, watching his whole family get done just because he stopped the Kingpin's son from committing crimes. I mean, I love Thomas Jane. He's great in a lot of things that he's in, and John Travolta is laughably bad as the Kingpin, but like, he gets a lot of laughs. He's just ridiculous but fun nonetheless. Rain of Fire. It's that weird movie with dragons. Basically ruin the earth. I mean, Matthew McConaughey, Christian Bale. The movie's just really boring overall. I mean, the dragon scenes are kind of cool at times, but to be honest, it's just a very forgettable movie. We'll probably put that above there, and this should probably be near the bottom. But yeah, Rain of Fire. Yeah. We're gonna put Resident Evil Apocalypse. The second one is the best Resident Evil for sure. I love it better than the first one. It is closest moving the series to the games, basically a remake or a movie of Resident Evil 3. The Nemesis is cool. The dog's chasing them is awesome. Jill is there. Lots of different characters. No Leon, of course. So that's kind of weird, but yeah, it's just a fun movie, and Nemesis is awesome. Resident Evil. Well, I'll be fair to the first one. The first one's not bad, but the second one, it beats it in every way, in my opinion. I prefer the second one, but the first one still is cool. Some cool death scenes. The laser grid scene is awesome. The zombies look pretty cool. The dogs. I mean, it's a pretty good take on the first Resident Evil game, I suppose. As good as you can be with Alice, who wasn't in the games, of course, but fun movie still. Not as good as the second one. Romeo Must Die. Haven't seen it. The Rundown. This was, I put this in the best of all time because I just love this movie. It's so fun. Christopher Walken's a great villain. One of The Rock's first movies. Actually, I think this was The Rock's first movie with the WWE films, and it's just fun action. Sean William Scott has some good laughs here and there. It's just a really fun action movie that I would love to own, but I haven't been able to find it. Rush Hour 2. I haven't seen any of the Rush Hour movies, to be honest. Scorpion King. I love this movie. I know in my comment section that the movie's dumb, but I enjoy it. It's a cool idea of what the Scorpion King was. Supposedly, the Scorpion King was actually a real thing in real life. It's debate about whether he was real or myth. Um, yeah, I think The Rock was pretty good as Matthias. Eventually became the Scorpion King. Shaft, haven't seen it, but I'll put that up there as one that I want to see at some point. Put that down there. Shanghai Nights, Shanghai Noon, haven't seen them. Sky Captain of the World Tomorrow is mediocre. I remember when I saw this trailer for the first time on TV, it's like, oh my god, that movie looks so cool. But then you see it's just kind of boring. I mean, some of the technology is pretty cool. The whole um, sky captains in the future is kind of cool as well. But overall, it's just a very boring movie, to be honest. And that's kind of a shame. We'll put both the Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2 movies up there. They're both good. Maybe we'll put them more around here. Yeah, fun movie. I just love the original Spider-Man movies. First two are great. Third one, not so much, but it's not as bad as people make them out to be. Spy Kids 2 are fun little movies. To be honest now, I don't think I really needed a good action dumb movie category, to be honest, but they're all pretty fun. I mean, they're more for kids, of course, but when I was a kid, I enjoyed them quite a bit. They're cool technology, cool idea of spies being, or of kids being, trying to save their parents. Danny Trejo's in it is pretty cool as well. But all three of them are a pretty good trilogy. The ones that have come since then are not so good and kind of forgettable, to be honest. Star Trek Nemesis. Haven't seen it, but I heard it's horrendous. Star Wars Attack of the Clones. Good action scenes, but I think it's a dumb movie overall, to be honest. No, we'll put it in a classic. I think it's still a fine movie. It's just the love dialogue is dreadful. And it really makes it hard to watch at times, but the Clone Wars scene at the end is pretty awesome. Supposedly Grievous was supposed to be in this movie, but we didn't get him unfortunately. But what we got is pretty fun. Just the some of the middle parts where the Naboo scenes are just a slog to get through. And to be honest, that's what the skip button was made for. Those are scenes that don't really have much to say about the future of Star Wars. They're just terrible up dialogue and more congressional talk, basically. Some of All Fears, I've heard it's decent, but I haven't seen it. SWAT, haven't seen it. I have no idea what that is. If someone is watching this video, they can tell me what that is. Taxi, no. Team America is hilarious. The movie is just so funny. I remember when I first saw this, I thought it was just weird, but it's grown on me. It's just so funny. Oh, I can't say enough good things about it though. Tears of the Sun. Haven't heard it's decent, but I haven't seen it. Terminator 3, ultimately mediocre. I mean, some of the action scenes are cool. The Terminators look cool. All, also, Christina Logan is decent as the villain. The movie ultimately ends in a cliffhanger, to be honest. It just kind of ends. Just trying to shut down Skynet and find out Skynet doesn't have an off switch. So, you know, kind of a. I mean, it's cool for Arnie to be in it, but it just feels kind of a letdown. The first Fast and the Furious movie is definitely a classic for sure. I won't put that in Punisher, to be honest, but it's still a fun movie. It's the original. It started off this huge franchise, just just simple movie about car racing and some low level smuggling and stuff like that. But it's amazing what the Fast and Furious franchise has become since this first movie. The Mexican. I haven't seen it. To be honest, reading about it doesn't make me think it's even very action oriented, to be honest. The Mummy Returns. I enjoyed this movie a lot. It's definitely a downgrade from the first Mummy, to be honest, but. And then you have the terrible love dialogue at or the terrible dialogue at times, but it's still a fun movie, to be honest. The One, haven't seen it. Score, haven't seen it. Torque, haven't seen it. Tuxedo, haven't seen it. Now we're getting down to the nitty gritty. Titan A. I enjoyed this movie a lot. The animation is spectacular still. The movie is kind of lame though at times, kind of slow moving, but when I first saw it, it was pretty cool. Transporter. I enjoy a while. Well, we'll put it up here. Um, it's just a fun movie. Transporting people. It's just fun. Early Jason Statham movie. We'll put it up right here. Troy. It's probably put that right here. Battle sequences are fun. It was one of the biggest movie losers of all times in terms of money lost, but action scenes are fantastic. Brad Pitt. I mean, I'm sure Brad Pitt always wanted to be in a movie like this. It's just fun. Um, the whole Trojan War, I've always enjoyed talking about and learning about. It's just a really fun movie. Kind of long though at times, to be honest. Underworld is a fun action movie to be sure. Kate Beckinsale and looks really hot in this movie. Cool bat or vampire and werewolf combat. It's just a fun little movie, and it gets in, gets out, some brutal kills. It's just a fun movie. Van Helsing is ultimately mediocre, but I enjoy it. It's kind of dumb at times, to be honest, but um, yeah, I don't really have much to say about it. I just enjoy it for what it is. Vertical Limit is honestly, I love this movie. We'll put that right around here. Mountain climbing movie of K2, one of the most challenging mountains to climb, supposedly, from what I've read. Really takes into account the what would happen to someone at that high. Really tragic at times. It really gets you feeling, to be honest. Really harrowing moments. The thought of dying up there with very little air or freezing to death is kind of creepy and terrifying. Walking Tall, it's fantastic. Good action movie. One of The Rock's earliest. It's just he becomes sheriff, starts tearing up the town, making it right again, breaking some druggies. It's fun, especially him with that big giant 2x4. I'd say it's a bat, but it's just a giant 2x4 to be honest. We Were Soldiers, definitely up here. Some of the best battle sequences I've seen in a while. Early part of Vietnam. It's a Mel Gibson movie, so you know him and Randall Wallace are gonna write a good movie. Um, it's just so believable, and it's really brutal and very harrowing at times. It really gets under your skin. The first X-Men movie is fantastic. Um, I haven't seen it forever. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. It's just a fun movie. I enjoy it a lot. Triple X is ultimately mediocre, but fun. I enjoy it a lot. I watch it a good amount of the time. And last but not least, X2 is even better than the second one. Find out more of the origins of Wolverine. Um, some cool action scenes, especially the fight at the mansion, the battle at the dam. It's just a fun movie overall, and one I enjoy a lot. And there you go. Some of the best movies that ever came out from 2000 to 2004. Sorry I'm losing my voice. I'm talking a lot. And yeah, it's fun. It was a fun list. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Otherwise, have a great day, and as always, God bless.